Al'Finawad assembled the Scions back at the Rising Stones to propose that they elect a successor to Minfilia. Maybe not an antecedent, but at least someone to control the operations. Well, really, who else could it be? I mean, even for this meeting he gathered all the Scions together. Every mission since Minfilia's absence, he has controlled the operation. Nobody is more fitting than Al'Finawad, even if he believes he is not worthy after everything that happened with the Crystal Braves. Our meeting is interrupted by the cries for help by Tataru. An injured Mikote arrived on our doorstep, covered in wounds and in desperate need of a healer. Yida begs Y'shtola and Krill to tend to her wounds. Why did she put her life in danger to come here? Apparently, she had an urgent message that could not be delayed. She took the shortest route here, which meant going through Garlean territory. Her name is Manago, a member of Alamahegan Resistance. She came here to warn Yida and Papalamo about Griffin. He is planning something reckless. He wants to start a war that the Eorzean Alliance cannot back out of. By starting a battle on Bael'Zar's wall, it will spark conflict between the Alliance and the Imperials. The fight that ensues on Bael'Zar's wall is guaranteed to spill over into the Black Shroud, thus forcing their hand and dragging them into his liberation efforts. Even if the plan is foolish, the Alliance must be warned of the Griffin's antics. We are sent to Ishgard to explain the situation to Imric and have him attend the meeting with the Alliance.
I suspect the ill tidings from Girabania will be held as a turning point. The beginning to a bloody end. The business of war was ever conducted with the coin of self-sacrifice. 'Twas Master Louis Soir himself who taught us that such costs are not to be ignored or denied. And so I shall embrace them. When the time comes, I will make my choice, as you will yours.
Instead of sending an envoy, Sir Imric travels to Gridania to be at the meeting in person, to discuss the matters of the Griffin and what it could mean for the Alliance. At the Battle of Cartanu, it took the combined efforts of all three grand companies to hold back a single Imperial Legion. Gridania alone would be able to stop the incoming Garlean threat. Imric is still ashamed that Ishgard refused to help them in the Battle of Cartanu. To help make up for it, he wants to leave forces in Gridania to bolster their defense if such an attack were to happen. The people of Doma will also help out where needed. Their numbers are few, but they can have whatever number of shinobi they may need. War may be coming for the Alliance, and when it does, they will make sure that they are ready and prepared for it. The chosen outcome is the most logical one, but something feels wrong. To bolster our defenses around Bael'Zar's wall would give the Griffin the very thing he wants. Is there something else he may want instead? There is nothing but peace and tranquility in the air. Our forces await just outside the borders of Bael'Zar's wall, in case Garlemald tries to use this opportunity to evade us. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening, and we are just awaiting commands from above. Suddenly, the sounds of battle can be heard over the wall. Looking towards the horizon, we can see the scarlet fire burning in the night sky. We assume that the people are attacking the wall is the Griffin's army, but reports say that they are clad in the Grand Company colors. It seems like we really did give Griffin exactly what he wanted, to bring all of our armies to the border of Bael'Zar's wall, and then dressed up his own army in our colors. The Garleans are going to see this and think that the Eorzean Alliance have launched an offensive to take back Alamahigo. The very thing we didn't want to happen is instead happening. This is a very important moment, and we need to act fast before things get out of hand. We will head to the wall with Al'Finawad and tell the rest of the Scions to meet us there. Whatever the Griffin intends to do, it must be stopped. The battlefield is littered with broken Magitech and the bodies of fallen allies and adversaries. The Griffin commands the people to keep pushing forward and force the Eorzean Alliance into action. Alamahigo will be free. no matter the cost. We are tasked with fighting through Baelzar's wall and putting a stop to the Griffin before he does irreparable damage to the well-being of Eorzea. Arriving at the peak of Baelzar's wall, we spot the Griffin. He takes off his mask and hood to reveal that he was none other than Ul'dah. It all makes sense. Ul'dah's drive for liberating Ala Mhigo is what made him become Telegi's lapdog. It's what made him corrupt the Crystal Braves, and it's what made him cause the Bloody Banquet. If not for the Bloody Banquet, the Scions would have never been split apart, and Minfilia would have never died. There is only one thing on our mind, but we must put aside our revenge and stop him once and for all. We defeat Ul'dah. His defeat matters not. He gestures below to the battlefield for us to look at what he has orchestrated. There is naught but death and destruction. The Resistance are celebrating their victory, but it is short-lived. Laurentus is watching from above and activates the Magitech Vanguard to attack his own army, to kill his fellow comrades, all under the charade of it being for the betterment of Eorzea. What madness is this? What is he doing? What does he intend to achieve by spilling the blood of his own comrades? This is just insanity, a bloody massacre. Ul'dah has lost his mind. He won't order his soldiers to retreat because victory is in his grasp. He reveals that he is in possession of Nidhogg's eyes, something no mortal should be in possession of. He's struggled for so many years to reach this point, and he will no longer sit idle as others have. People have grown apathetic to the issues surrounding Ala Mhigo. They want freedom, but they don't want to spill the blood for it. No mortals should hold these eyes, then he will become a demon. His army below are losing, feeling hopeless. Their desire for vengeance is piercing through their final breaths. He will use those prayers and cries for salvation and liberate their homeland himself. He will summon a Primal, one worse than the Black Wyram of the Calamity. We try to stop him, but Ul'dah retreats to a higher place. In his final act, Ul'dah allows himself to fall towards the ground below, at a height no one could survive. He adds his bodies to the countless below, using himself as a surrogate for the Primal. By using the unending amount of aether in Nidhogg's eyes as catalysts, and all the prayers of his fallen comrades who lay in despair, waiting for their last moments, Ul'dah's death finalized the ritual, and a new Primal begins to form. Looking at our current situation, we start to despair. Isn't there anything we can do? Papalamo has an idea. He will replicate the sealing spell Louisoix did when he attempted to contain Bahamut. To cast such a spell, Louisoix had us gather aether for multiple days, as it uses an extreme amount of aether. It's not something you can just cast whenever you want. Which is true, but we gave Papalamo Tupsimati. Tupsimati has the ability to draw vast quantities of aether from its bearer's surroundings. But to cast that spell would mean that he would have to sacrifice his life to do so. An airship pulls up to us to get us out of here. Knowing that he's going to sacrifice himself, Yida does not want to leave him behind. Thancred has to intervene and take Yida away by force. Regrettably, this is a fight not even we can win. He is resolved to do what he must, and we trust in his abilities. We jump on the ship as it departs, leaving Papalamo behind to seal the Primal. A man from Doma arrives in Vesper Bay. He has journeyed far to come to Eorzea. To do so, he has sailed endlessly for many days, which has left him fatigued. He tries to ignore it, but ends up passing out. Luckily, Urianger is currently stationed in the Waking Sands and noticed the whole ordeal. A newborn Primal is a problem. Who knows how long Papalamo's spell can last before it gives in? To discuss the issue further, we have a meeting in the Twelveswood about what we should do. Even the Garleans have taken an interest in the Primal. They have tried to send an airship towards it, but it was reduced to ruin by a lance of light. Both sides are unsure what to do. To do nothing would lead to another calamity. It needs to be destroyed, but we have no idea as to how. Before we can come to a conclusion, Nero interrupts the meeting, claiming that he has a solution to our problem. He wants us to use the only force in existence that was created to capture Bahamut. Omega. It's extremely old Allagan technology that nobody knows how to use, except Nero. Nero restored Ultima Weapon to full operational capacity, so he has the experience to make Omega fully operational too. Allagan technology is dangerous. It's technology that we cannot truly begin to understand. There are going to be risks in waking Omega up to defeat the Primal. Omega is but a tool to be used by them. The fact that Omega lies dormant all this time, even after Bahamut dropped Dalamud on top of it, shows that it requires control to function. We cannot really trust his words, but we don't have a choice. He's the only one who's proposed a solution to the problem. We'll keep our eyes on him and let him do it. The Council will allow the restoration of Omega to fall to the two former Imperials. The Scions must assign people to watch and see if any foul play is being made, seeing as we are a neutral faction. Doma is also in a neutral position. If Yugiri notices anything, she is free to kill Nero. After the meeting, we bring Nero to the Rising Stones. He regards the place as primitive. All of the Scions are gathered here except for Y'shtola and Thancred, who remained behind to assess the binding magic. The time Papalamo has brought us shouldn't be wasted. Now is the time to act. Our meeting is interrupted by the very same Doman traveler from before, who collapsed at Vesper Bay. He was sent here by Urianger. He spots Yugiri and recognizes her. They know each other. His name is Gosetsu. He came to Eorzea to find Yugiri and tell her it's time to come home. She cannot leave yet. She swore her blade to us, and she intends to repay the debt she owes. He is disappointed with her response until Nero mentions that we are fighting the Empire. In that case, he will help us. He is oath-bound to kill any Imperials with his blade, no matter where they march. We take an airship to the Kartanu ruins. Our eyes are set on taking control of Omega and using it to fight the Primal that dwells in the skies. Nero activates a nearby teleporter, which will take us directly to Omega's control room. Before we can leave, a group of Garleans followed our airship. They too are looking for Omega. Sid and Nero go on ahead, leaving us to deal with these Imperials. The Imperial numbers start to dwindle, so they call for backup, demanding that we surrender. To make the fight more even, Nero lends us his Magitech Reaper, the Red Baron. With the help of the Red Baron, we defeat all of the remaining soldiers and use the teleporter to finally go down and see what this control room looks like for ourselves. All system checks are clear. Omega is waking up. It causes all of the panels in front of us to start moving around until a single button lies in front of us. Omega has tracked the location of the Primal instantaneously, without any input from anyone. It acts autonomously. Once Omega has defeated the Primal, we will need to place him back into stasis. Who knows what could happen if we let Omega roam free without control? Yida wants to be the one to press the button. We won't waste this opportunity. Papalamo's sacrifice won't be in vain. Upon pressing the button, The control room begins to shake. The nodes change color to a faint red glow. The launch sequence has begun. Omega has been set loose. Both of them were consumed in the light of that blast and sent cascading to different locations. After the blast, all of Omega's signals have gone offline. We are currently unaware as to what this may mean, so we need to go outside and check for ourselves. Before we leave, we place it into stasis just in case it tries to do anything whilst we can't seem to track it. With the destruction of the cocoon that encased the Primal, the last of Papalamo's aether has faded. This causes Yida's neck tattoo to vanish, one that was supposedly bestowed to her for mastering the teachings of Charlayan. We go to meet our fellow scions who were able to watch the battle. It was a nightmarish battle that caused all of Eorzea to shake in response to it. Most of the casualties caused by it were not on this side of the wall. Ul'dah's Primal took the shape of a dragon. If not for Omega, it would have likely caused the second calamity. We can't help but wonder how is Ul'dah holding up after all of this. Currently she's being left alone, but maybe some company would do her some good. Ul'dah seems lost in thought, looking towards the place where Papalymo's final spell was. The light is now truly gone, and all that was left with him went with it. Maybe it's time that she stops hiding behind his little shadow. 20 years ago, the Empire marched into Ala Mhigo. She was barely 5 years old at this point. Her father was one of the revolutionists who fought to overthrow Mad King Theodoric, and her sister fought alongside him. Once the Garleans came, her father continued to fight them. After that, she never saw him again. Her sister dragged her for many moms until they came to Charlayan. That was where her sister met Master Louis Soir and eventually became an Archon. Her sister was her inspiration. She took up her mask and name to continue on her legacy. The Ul'dah we know now isn't truly Ul'dah. Her sister, Ul'dah, was killed 6 years ago. She was on a mission to smuggle refugees out of Ala Mhigo. The Imperial soldiers overwhelmed her when she stayed behind to save a little girl's life, which in the end cost her own. She kept this to herself the entire time, never telling us the truth. But from now on it will only be the truth. Her real name is Lys, but Palymo gave her Ul'dah's mask as a memento, but in the end she wanted to keep alive all the good she did. It's not like she intended to replace Ul'dah. She never knew the path she wanted to walk, and this one seemed easier. However, Papalymo's last words to her were for her to find her own path. These words have stayed with her this entire time. Maybe now it's time to do that. So whatever she does from now on, she will do so as Lys. She will continue the fight her family left off. Ala Mhigo will turn into the country that Ul'dah and her family fought for. Lys has removed her mask and will begin to live as the real her from now on. She is determined to move forward. Let's return to the Rising Stones. We have quite the tale to tell Tataru and Alisaie. Yugiri and Gosetsu must leave for Doma to continue the battle. War is upon us once more. The Grand Companies are trying to set up a line of defense to combat the Imperials. There is no way they will sit back and allow us to take Bael'Zar's wall without a fight. Maybe it's finally time to take back Ala Mhigo once and for all. We see an Imperial Royal sitting atop a throne in what looks like to be Ala Mhigan architecture. He is receiving a report about Bael'Zar's wall being taken by the Eorzean Alliance. The messenger proposes that they should ignore it for now and look about the damage dealt by Omega and the Primal known as Shinryu, before realizing his place and continuing his lord's will. The Garleans will take back Bael'Zar's wall. At the far edge of fate, the road begins anew. The heroes look to eastern skies and behold their crimson hue. A dawn of liberation, a gathering storm of blood. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal.